Hello, is everyone from Timeswap here?
Hi, yeah,
Oh,
we're here.
okay, great. So let's get started. So first of all, let's welcome Timeswap, and this is Aquarius from Vaultka, host of the day. So today we have invited our guest, Timeswap, the Timeswap team, to talk about how Timeswap and us, Vaultka, could create new possibilities. Before we start discussing, maybe we could ask Timeswap to introduce yourself first.
Sure. Thanks a lot for having us. I'm Mimi, and I'm the head of growth in Timeswap. And so, just a very brief intro on us. So, Timeswap is a fully decentralized lending market, and what this means is basically our design allows us to set up lending markets for any ERC20 tokens without the need for oracles and any governance proposal. So, it's we're aiming to be the next DeFi primitive, like the lending primitive of DeFi.
Got it. Okay. So I see. That's interesting. But I remember you said that um, you guys are Oracle free. So is there any reason behind that?
Sure. So, I mean, Oracle right now it's much more developed than say 2 3 years ago in DeFi, at least 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And some lending markets like say Aave, Compound, they solve the basic needs of users who want to like lend and borrow. But due to the need for oracles in those markets, it's only available for assets that are very high volume, like blue chip assets like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and I mean, sure, it might solve around 60 70% of the user's needs, but what about the remaining 30? The other long tail assets, they don't have Oracle support, so that's something that has to be tackled.
Mm.
And another thing that I'd say is the prevalence of Oracle manipulation risk.
Yep.
One reason why we can't really like use long tail assets in these markets is the fact that volumes in some assets are very low and it takes say a million or two US dollars to manipulate, and we've seen many such cases that I won't name them, uh, but yeah, oracle manipulation risk is something very prevalent, especially now in the liquidity crunch era.
Yeah. Got it. So that's a interesting idea on it. And so you just briefly mentioned about your protocol. Can you like introduce more in detail, like how you guys mentioned that you are similar to Uniswap, but for the borrowing and lending, can you briefly tell us?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, sure. So if you imagine Uniswap, we can all arrive at consensus and say that it's the infrastructure for on-chain spot trading, right?
Mm.
It serves all ERC20 token asset pairs, and there's nothing like that for lending, at least not yet. That's as sound as Uniswap. So we're heavily inspired by Uniswap's design, and we decided to create something very similar. So we're also able to cater to any ERC20 token asset pairs. And another similarity of us and Uniswap is the fact that, unlike the typical lending market, we have a third market participant, which is called the liquidity provider.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just like Uniswap, there's buyers, sellers, and LPs. In our case, there's borrowers, lenders, and LPs.
Okay. Got it. So yeah, interesting. Um, so what inspired you to create TimeSwap actually?
Uh, sure. Thanks. So, actually, the founders met around 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite some time, and they were heavily inspired by Uniswap, just like what I said, and the lack of such infrastructure. So they were trying to build something that's much more, say, bigger than maybe not bigger, but something that serves the other side of the market in lending needs.
Mm.
And I'd say how it came about was basically our founders met during hackathon and was inspired to push this idea further.
Oh, I see. So that's why you guys create the Timeswap. Got it. So I noticed that you recently go on the chain of Arbitrum. Can you tell us why you choose Arbitrum as one of the chain?
Sure. So yeah, we're actually first went live on Polygon, then Ethereum, and now on Arbitrum.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say Arbitrum controls like 90% of our TVL. It shows that users are liking Arbitrum, and we're liking Arbitrum as well.
Yep.
So one of the main reasons of why we expanded to Arbitrum was this is an undisputable fact that Arbitrum's like the DeFi king for the time being. And I mean, volumes is here, low gas fees is there, all users are here, and there's so many innovative protocols. And DeFi is all about composability. So like even just like you guys,
Yep.
right? You guys are building on top of like GMX
Yeah,
and all
exactly.
these perp markets that exist on Arbitrum.
Yeah.
So us with the aim of being an infrastructure market, we want to stress test our protocol in a much more rapidly changing environment, and we think that Arbitrum was the perfect fit. And yeah, the results are being happy right now.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you that the Arbitrum has so much benefits, including like the low gas fee and good performance. So that's why our protocol Vaultka is also built on top of Arbitrum as well. Yeah, we are a team of Arbitrum Messi. Yeah. So.
Right. Yeah. Same here.
Yeah. And then what about the Oracle mechanism behind it? Actually, yeah, can you explain more?
Sure. Can you elaborate on what exactly you're asking by Oracle mechanism?
Sorry?
Can you elaborate more on that question, please?
Oh, is there any reason why Oracle is a big risk in like DeFi or in your protocol?
Okay, sure. So, like for the reasons I mentioned before, the first one being Oracle manipulation risk in DeFi, because all existing lending markets they are like they're dependent on oracles and liquidations. So they have to monitor real time value of both collaterals and assets and liquidate. But this also means that users can get falsely liquidated if there's price manipulation, like trading wicks, just through like flash loan attacks, etc. I mean, sure, it can be helped using tools like weighted average prices, but it still doesn't really solve. It's just like a patch. And back to the point that Oracle dependency means that these long tail assets can't be served at all. So what about let's say we recently launched this, not very recently, but like 1.5 months ago, we launched a pool with PLS ARB, which is Plutus DAO, a big. They're like the convex of Arbitrum. They're the governance black hole of Arbitrum, as they say. And they have this asset called PLSR. Basically, ARP holders can lock their assets into PLSR, and users will receive like reward PLS emissions for holding that PLSR, but only after 2 months of their conversion, they'll be able to swap back to ARB. So that means from the time of deployment of PLSR until 2 months, there's no official LP. And there was an unofficial LP, but the pool was very low. It was, I believe, somewhere around 30K liquidity for a 9 million like market cap token, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
And no one was able to set up a lending market, and people were having their money locked there, like $9 million,
Yeah.
even more, like $12 million were locked there.
Wow.
So we partnered with them, and we have any DEX right now. So yeah, I think that's one key factor of why like being Oracleless is important in DeFi.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So we have listened to you guys about how your protocol works, and maybe the next part we will discuss about how we Timeswap and also Vaultka could create new possibilities. So for those of you who don't know, Vaultka provides customized vaults designed to optimize the return of per-desk LP token, including GMX, Failure Exchange, etc. So I'm wondering if there is any synergy between us. For example, what I can think of at the moment is maybe our LP token could be a collateral in Timeswap. And so do you have any ideas on it?
Of course, of course. Sure. So if I'm not mistaken, your LP tokens, it's like the receipt for deploying in like perp markets and then being delta neutral, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, definitely. As long as it's ERC20 and it's non-rebasing, any token can be integrated to our protocol, and we can create two types of markets for those assets. So the first one being accepting those LP tokens as collateral to borrow against any token, but typically it's paired with a stablecoin. So let's say delta neutral GMX receipt token or GLP rather, and it's paired against stablecoin. So any user that deposited into your vault, they can borrow against that locked capital, and that locked capital, no, that stablecoin can now be used freely, be it to deposit more to your protocol or just anywhere across DeFi. So yeah, first of all, we can unlock capital from this pool, and another type of, let's say, money market we can set up for the LP is to create an LP, a pool where LP holders can lend their LP tokens.
Oh.
And what this means is basically they can earn additional interest from lending. But it seems that the first option is much more like viable. Not viable, but will be much more useful for both of our communities.
Oh, great. So maybe we can.
And I'd say something interesting is since your LP tokens are basically delta neutral positions of GLP,
Yep.
it's essentially the naked like GMX traders PNL, right?
Yep.
So what this pool allows is for people to bet on let's say the direction on whether traders will be net positive or net negative in terms of aggregate like PNL, which is I'd say a new market. It's like GLP on steroids, right? Because you can like leverage your exposure to the trader's PNL without fearing any of the underlying assets price movements.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the approach we can discuss in the future. Yeah. And yeah. And let's say if Vaultka is having a native token and
Hello?
hello? Can you hear me? Hi. Hello, Mimi, can you hear me?
Hello, Aquarius. Am I audible?
Hello, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
If you're speaking, I can't hear you.
Oh, wait, let me see. What about Timeswap Lab? Can you hear me? Oh, interesting. Wait. Hello, Mimi. Can you hear me?
Hey. Yeah, for some reason I got like disconnected.
Okay.
Was I audible? Like
yeah, I can hear you now.
till like where was I cut off just now? Could you remind me?
We were talking about like how we could collaborate. So one of the approach is that our LP token could be a collateral in you guys' protocol.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
did I mention the second one?
Yep. So maybe another approach is that let's say if Vaultka is having a native token, how can the user unlock the utilities by using Timeswap?
Okay. So I'd say it's gonna be more or less similar to the like synergy with the LP tokens, but the main goal would be different because for the LP token it would be more about possibly leverage looping or more degen strategies. Whereas if you were to launch a native token, like say your governance token, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we can do is this would be the most ideal scenario where we create a lending market where your token can be used as collateral against a stablecoin.
Yeah.
So this means that long term holders can simply borrow against their long term holdings, and thus there's not much opportunity cost for them to actually hold your token. So that would, I'd say, like lessen the sell pressure, at least for long term holders.
Yeah. Agree. So yeah, it's definitely um, one of the approach we can discuss in the future, and then maybe let's see how can we can integrate all these things together.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I think if that's the case, our VK token will have much more capital efficiency, and our token can be utilized in many different cases and amplify the use case. Yeah. So after discussing all the possibilities, like maybe is there anything you want to add before I move on to next question? Like, is there any other things you can think of for us to integrate?
Okay. Okay. Just give me a moment to think about it. Yeah. Okay. So I believe I was cut off like just now, right? Did I mention why like the why accepting your LP tokens in TimeSwap would be a big deal?
Um, excuse me, sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. So just now I was like, so Twitter just now basically robbed me and I was cut off. But I was just wondering, like, uh, did I get to mention why the LP token integration, like, why accepting your LP token as collateral would be a big deal?
Um, I guess no. I guess not yet.
Okay, then I'll go there. So basically, since your LP tokens is delta neutral or like hedge positions of underlying perp markets, right? It means that these LP tokens are basically the like purely the trader's PNL of these perp markets, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then creating a lending market for these tokens would enable people to do like leverage trading on these like traders PNL.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like yeah, so it's like trading on leverage on a very cool derivative, right? Just so you can bet like oh in 7 days GMX traders are gonna net profit. So if you bet that way and you loop it like say 5 times, so you get 5x leverage, then yeah, you'll make money.
Oh, I see.
So I think that really unlocks a cool possibility, right?
Yep, definitely. That is another interesting approach from you. Yeah, thanks a lot. And yeah, so after discussing all the possibilities, can you tell us about what is you guys' upcoming project roadmaps? Like, is there anything else coming up soon?
Sure. Okay. So like what I said during the intro, we're quite similar. No, we're fairly similar to Uniswap in design, where we have a third market participant, which is called the liquidity provider. And for the past 3 months that we were live on V2, it was not available in UI. It was already permissionless, but only in the smart contract level. So what this means is anyone could create a pool, even like since back then. But uh, in the coming weeks, we're making it like actually truly permissionless even on the UI level. So just like how in Uniswap you can add liquidity to create like DEX markets for two token pairs for token pair rather. Like if that liquid if that token pair does not has a market yet, then you're essentially creating that market, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna allow that functionality real soon as well.
Great.
So anyone can create lending markets for anything, like through themselves.
Great, great, great. Sounds great. I'll definitely keep an eye on it. And I wish you
Awesome.
guys
I'll keep you posted.
thank you so much. And so maybe just a few last questions. And what do you think about the emerging trend of lending market in the coming future?
Okay. So again, I'd say it's. I'll probably sound quite biased because I mean I am building a lending protocol,
Yeah.
right? So I want mine to succeed. But basically, just if you imagine a Uniswap but only for blue chip assets, it won't be Uniswap, right?
Mm.
So just something like that. We need we need base layers like infrastructure that are truly asset neutral. That on every levels, not only for on chain spot trading, not only for on chain lending, but like even for perps market. If there's a perp, if someone can design a perp market that is truly permissionless, then it's gonna be very big. So basically, I think not only for lending markets, but for the whole DeFi space, the design should be more focused on like asset neutral protocols, like being an actual infrastructure instead of protocols that has some limitations due to Oracle dependency or something. But I'm not saying that Oracle dependency is bad because I agree that for DeFi to actually grow, you need oracles because to bring like real assets like stocks, bonds, etc. Because that's where the real money is. But creating something pure like Timeswap is, in my eyes, something that's very big.
Yep. Okay, got it. So yeah, thank you so much today for amazing like Q&A AMA session with us. So yeah, so I think maybe we can really discuss about how we could integrate like just what you just mentioned about it. Yeah. So that's the end of today's AMA. Thank you, Mimi and Timeswap Labs.
Thank you, Aquarius.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Vaultka. Looking forward to work
Yeah,
together.
sure, definitely. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of today. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.